Hello YouTube, welcome to the completed 1/16th scale Losi drag Chevelle with the nitro swapped TRX 0.15 water-cooled engine. Now, I'm going to start this video by saying I am very excited for this car. First of all, it will be for sale, but I have pulled it off. I did what I wanted to do with this car. I wanted to make a nitro-powered, water-cooled drag car with a parachute. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is a functional 9-inch nylon parachute. Check this out. On my TTX 300, parachute button. 3, 2, 1. Parachute. This parachute is velcroed onto the bottom of the body. We'll just pull the container off here. But the container is not what actually holds all the lines. The lines, just like the real deal, go to the chassis. Very simple, removable. Pull this clip off. Parachute is no longer part of the car. Unplug this servo. Container is no longer part of the car. You can run it with or without the parachute. Now, let me give you a quick walk around in case this is the first time you guys are joining me. I'm going to unplug this here. Nice and noisy. Up front, we have a 50mm radiator and fan with a small pump. 2 tanks. This is coolant, this is fuel. It runs like a normal nitro car. It's got the typical 2-line system. So we've got coolant from the tank to the pump, out to the water-cooled head. This came off of a Nitro V boat, to the radiator, and then back to the coolant reservoir. This is using typical automotive grade coolant. The engine itself is a brand new, well, broken in, so, brand new as far as broken in can go. Traxxas 0.15. This is a manifold from, turns out, a Nitro Stampede with a exhaust tube from the Nitro Stampede or the Nitro V, and the pipe from a Nitro Sport. Gearing, 16-tooth Traxxas brand Mod 1 on the clutch, and 40-tooth Mod 1 directly attached to the original spur gear. So you'll actually, if you see down there, you see 2 spur gears. Turns out, there are dimples marked on the original Losi spur gear that are exactly spaced for the screws required to mount a Traxxas spur gear. So I did. Working great. Throttle's kind of funny. We've got a throttle servo. We also have a brake servo down there pushing this piece of fuel line tubing against the clutch bell. If you've seen my other modifications, you know that works extremely well. When you've got it turned on, I'll show you here. If I press brake, and I try to push the car, it locks the rear tires. So that's a very effective brake. So neutral, brake, throttle, brake, neutral. Steering is stock, receiver is stock, but man, I am stoked about this little parachute. This case I made from hand using a shock from an RC car, a couple pieces of Tupperware container, zip ties to hold that together. And then I cut and glued a bunch of pieces of nylon from one of my paraglider wings, actually. I do paragliding. I don't know if I ever mentioned that. Avery Fly's YouTube channel, shameless plug. We've got a servo literally glued onto the bottom, and it's strong enough. It works. Packing this parachute is kind of a chore, but I'll show you how it goes. First and foremost, we want the car to have its 3rd channel all the way up, so I'm going to press the up button to set the servo to its maximum position. And we can turn the car off. Now we're going to pack here. So we've got the parachute. I want to have pinched right at the middle and kind of roll so that all of the lines in the fabric end up in the center. And then we're just rolling over, trying to make a flat package out of it. I know we'll never quite be perfect on that. All right, and then roll the lines around it. Remember, this is shoved out by a spring, so it unfurls quick. Once you get to the blue line, this goes into the container with the lines ejecting downward, like so. So you press it into the container, you press the spring all the way in. I like to have the lines off to the side with the wire. We're going to take our servo, line up these 3 little loops, and push our servo into position so that the rod on the servo goes through these 3 loops. And this is why I'm making the parachute removable, because this is a pain in the butt to do. Just like that. So now when you hit the 3rd channel, the servo moves, pulls the pin out, these 3 pedals open up, the spring pushes the parachute out. Now we're going to attach this to the chassis. Losi has conveniently given us this little hole in the rear body mounts. So blue line, the loop goes through the hole. We attach it with a simple body clip right in the middle. Won't come off, and that'll pull and hold and slow the whole car down. Then we're going to plug in our servo up here, just like so. And at this point, you'd start the car, get it running. Because once you start the car, you can put the body on. So take your body, plug it in like so, get the cooling system going, which also turns on the radio. And since we already moved the servo into position and had it set, it didn't inadvertently deploy our parachute. So the engine would be running at this point. Set the body on, and Velcro. Remember, the Velcro doesn't actually hold the parachute, it only holds the container onto the body. The parachute is tied onto the chassis. All the drag that it creates will pull on the chassis, not on the body. This is just here to hold the container in place. And voila, ready to drive, parachute and all. Parachute demo as seen from the rear. And that's basically already unfurled, so all it would have to do is catch air. This is a 9-inch parachute, but that's 9-inch flat. It's about 5 or 6 inches around as it drives. And that will pull and create drag on the whole car. This has been a really cool, really rewarding build. I'm super excited on how it turned out, especially with the functioning parachute. That's been kind of an all-day project for me here, but it works, and I'm super excited about that. Anyways, if you like this kind of stuff, you should hit the like and subscribe button. I'm going to drive it, get a speed test out of it, and then it will be up for sale. So subscribe and stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching.